Okay, today we're going to start talking about percent of change. What does that actually mean? Percent of change is actually talking about the percent that something increases or decreases. So how do we find that? Percent of change is found from taking the difference, which means the increase or the decrease, and putting it over the original amount. So where did it increase or decrease from? And then you could set that equal to the percent out of 100 and use a proportion if you would like. Or you could just take that fraction, divide it, get the decimal, move the decimal twice over, and find the percent. It's up to you. So let's look at our first example. So percentage of change is the percent a quantity increases or decreases from its original amount. So there's your definition of percent of change. So we're going to look at our first example. BRMS had 505 students last year. Now this is obviously made up. I have no idea how many students are here in Black River. This year, I think I'm close though. This year BRMS has 520 students. What is the percent of change? So obviously from last year to this year, there's an increase. So what's the increase? From 505 to 520, the increase is 15. Where did it increase from? It increased from last year when it was 505. So the 15 represents the increase, and this represents the original. So you have your fraction. If you have a calculator, you could just divide it. And we would get a decimal that looks like this. And it keeps going and going. So you have to move that decimal twice. And then I want you to round it to the nearest whole number. So that would mean that it would be about a 3% increase. And again, you could always set this up as a proportion. All right, so we could originally say 5 or 15 over 505 is equal to what percent out of 100. You could use a proportion. You don't have to. When it's a fraction, you can just divide it and then move the decimal. Now we're going to talk about markup. Markup is the difference between the selling price and the store's cost of an item. Let's think about it. Let's just say that you go out and you buy something. And let's just say you bought something for 50 bucks. And let's just say a year from now, you don't really use that item anymore. You're going to go ahead and try to sell it. Well, obviously you want to try to sell it for more than what you bought it for, to make some money. That's what we're referring to when we say markup. So if you bought something for $50 and you go and try to sell it, you're going to try to mark it up and sell it for maybe 60 bucks. So you want to make obviously a profit from that. So that's what markup is. So let's look at our first example. An electronics store orders sets of walkie-talkies for $14.85. The store sells each set for $19.90. What is the percent of markup? So it sold it for bought it for $14.85, and it sold it for $19.90. So I want to know what the markup is. So the first thing you have to know is, well, how much did they mark it up? So they bought it for $14.85 and sold it for $19.90. So $14.85 subtracted from $19.90 is going to tell you that they marked it up $5.05. Well, where did they mark it up from? They marked it up from $14.85. So $5.05 is what percent of $14.85? So then you can go ahead and solve that. Oops. 505 divided by 14.85. So again, you're going to round it to the nearest whole number. So they marked it up about 34%. Discount we've talked a lot about. Discount is the difference between the original price and the sale price. So the discount is how much money you're actually saving. So let's look at our first example. A keyboard is normally $49.99 and is on sale for $34.99. What is the percent of discount? So in order to find the percent of discount, you have to know what the discount is. And again, you could set up a proportion. You don't know the percent. but the percent we want to represent the discount. So you have to know what the discount is. So you just subtract the normal price, $49.99, minus the sale price, tells you the discount was $15. So what does it go over? The discount goes over the original price, so over $49.99. So you can use your calculator to figure that out. So again, it's about, to the nearest whole number, a 30% discount. It's 30% of the original price, because that's where it decreased from. Let's look at our next one. Our shirt is on sale for 25% off of the original price. 25% off of the original. The original price is $64. How much is the discount and the sales price? So the shirt is 25% off the original, and the original price is $64. So we can simply say 25% of $64 is how much? Now, is that going to represent the discount or the sales price? If it's 25% off, that represents the discount. So 25% off of $64 is $16. So that's your discount. Now, how would you find your sale price? So if the original price is $64 and the discount is 16, just subtract, and that's how you find your sales price. So 64 minus 16, so that means you're only going to pay $48, which is your sales price. We can also think about it in a different way. What if we just want to go directly to our sales price? If you're getting 25% off, how much are you actually paying then? So you're actually paying 75% of the $64. So you can find 75% of 64, and that'll take you directly to that $48, which is the sales price. So 75% represents what you're paying. 25% represents your discount. So it's important to know the percentages that represent your discount and your sales price.